thank you all for coming. I'll be really brief. My name is Lucas DeBarros. I'm with the Massachusetts Black and Latino Legislative Caucus. I have the privilege of serving the 13 Black and Latino members of the House and the Senate on our caucus, and I serve as their executive director, which has been a wonderful ride. This event has grown over the years, so I want to thank you all for what it's become and for your support. I do want to take a moment to briefly acknowledge the legislators we have here, and then from there I'll hand it over to our chairman to get started. So with that being said, I want to make sure that we recognize Representative Cassidy, Representative Miranda, Representative Crocker, Representative Barber, Leader Donato, Representative Garbeli, Representative Farley Bouvier, Representative Lewis, Senator Pat Jalen, Chairwoman Claire Cronin, Representative Capano, Representative Vargas, Representative Santiago, Representative Vieira, Representative Michelle Sicolo, Representative Alugardo, Rep. Madaro, Representative Mindy Dom, Representative Michael Day, Representative Michelle Dubois, Representative Sylvia, Senator Julian Cyr, Representative Bud Williams, Town Meeting Member Amanda Groh, my apologies if I mispronounced that, Senate President Karen Spilka, and Senator Mike Brady, as well as Representative McGonigal, Representative Moran, Senator Collins, Representative Holmes, Rep. Alugardo, Rep. Santiago, and of course, Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito, Speaker DeLeo as well. Thank you all for coming again. I'm going to hand it over to our chairman from here to take it over, but I hope you all enjoy the event and make the most of it, and of course stick around for the food after and the music and whatnot. So once again, thank you for being here, and we hope you enjoy the event.
Thank you, Lucas, and thank you for your coordination and leadership throughout the year working on this program and also the other programs and leading the efforts of the Black and Latino Caucus. It's a rising star, going on to law school, just got engaged. Boy, got going, things going, happening. Thank you so much. You know, that's the tough part, trying to recognize everybody that's a legislator, because if you miss somebody, like I have done in the past, that's why I transfer that responsibility to him. I hope everybody got recognized, and if you didn't, please raise your hand as a legislator. All right, great. So thank you all, and good morning. Welcome to our second annual Black Excellence Recognition and Celebration, honoring leaders, trailblazers, and trendsetters during Black History Month. Those are you. Congratulations to all the honorees today. Governor, Lieutenant Governor, Speaker of the House, and I know our Senate President Spilka will be here shortly. My colleagues in government, hermanos y hermanas, brothers and sisters from the Black and Latino Legislative Caucus, thank you for honoring us with your presence here today. Black History Month is an annual celebration of achievements by African Americans and a time for recognizing the central role blacks play in the United States history. It is also the month we hear and read in social media today about the Martin Luther King I Have a Dream speech. Well, I'm here to say that I too have a dream. My dream is to not allow Martin Luther King's dream remain a dream for another 50 years. It's time we make his dream our reality, because we have come to the State House of Massachusetts to encourage a new agenda, a new vision, and a new conversation that prioritizes economic equality. No longer should we allow the median net worth of black Bostonians to be $8, according to a report by the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. Because, as members of the Black and Latino Caucus, we have come to the State House to encourage a new conversation that focuses on creating affordable mortgages, not only affordable apartments. I'm talking about home ownership and opening the doors of opportunity to own a piece of that real American dream. We're talking about a hefty down payment assistance programs for working families in the black and brown communities, because we have to own the communities in which we live in. And that is the real American dream. We have come together to have a new conversation to address the wealth gap by focusing on leveling the playing field. Leveling the playing field and business equity. That includes investing millions of dollars to create new micro businesses in the inner city. According to the Kauffman Foundation, the United States economy would add 1 million employer businesses and nearly 9.5 million jobs if minorities could start and grow their businesses at the same pace as non-minorities. Our agenda is clear. It's an investment that will have an immediate and long-term impact. We should not only spend billions of dollars in tax incentives for corporations to create jobs and tax credits and more tax incentives for developers that refuse to live in our communities to build homes. Building and owning our communities and businesses is a dream that together we must make a reality. And I'm so excited and encouraged by the leadership of this state, from our governor and lieutenant governor, our Speaker of the House, and our Senate President, who have championed these issues through working with us on an ongoing basis to achieve some of these goals and address the inequities that we all see yesterday and today. I want to thank them, and I really, really say from the bottom of my heart that the leadership of this state, as we travel the country, thank God for our leadership. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Thank you, Speaker. And thank you, Lieutenant. Our dream is to take that different path to carve out a yellow brick road of economic opportunity that provides the beginning of transferable, generational prosperity. That's called property ownership. My dream is to continue to fight to change policy that will have an immediate impact and addresses that income inequality. Education must also include more opportunities for trade schools and alternative education that inspires our young people to become employers, not only employees. An education system that encourages the next generation to be producers, not only consumers of services. A road that puts part ownership also in the hands of renters of low-income housing through mandated limited liability partnerships after being there and renting for 10, 20, and 30 years. They should have a piece of that pie, not only the developers. Limited liability partnerships. It was done in Holyoke as we championed a nonprofit organization development group. We can do it across this state, where the residents were part owners. A road that demands immediate action requiring corporate boards to reflect a diverse governing body. I believe in Massachusetts, in the boards of banks, there's approximately 4 to 5 folks that look like you and I. A road that through aggressive oversight demands banks and financial institutions fulfill its Community Reinvestment Act, which mandates reinvestments in all our communities, including and especially in the low-income communities. Martin Luther King said, there comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe nor political, nor popular, but he must take it because conscience tells him it is right. Because I too have a dream. My dream, and I hope you join me, is not to allow Martin Luther King's dream remain a dream for the next 50 years. Thank you very much. Now we would like to introduce a leader of Massachusetts here in the state, a person that I call Carlos Baker in Springfield. He is a distinguished governor. He meets with us on a quarterly basis. And let me just say, I know the political game, people say this and people say that. What he says, he means. When we talked about home ownership, he didn't say, why not? He didn't say why, he said, why not? And immediately encourage a loan pool that will have $65 million for home ownership in the state of Massachusetts. And that's the person that I honor to call my governor, your governor, Charlie Baker.
Thank you, Carlos. Much appreciated. And to all the honorees today, I just want to say thank you on behalf of the Commonwealth and congratulations for your well-deserved recognition. I do have a proclamation here, which I will give to my fellow Carlos at the end of my remarks. But it's basically a proclamation with respect to African American History Month here in the Commonwealth and Black History Month. What I do want to do, however, is just tell you one quick little story about one gentleman, of which there are literally tens, hundreds of thousands, millions of stories that could be told today. But today is the 100th anniversary, this year is the 100th anniversary of Edward Gordon's victory as a Harvard student in the 100-yard dash, the National Amateur Athletic Union tournament. First black man to win that race 100 years ago in 1920. Now, he went on to graduate from Harvard, went to law school, became a lawyer, then became a U.S. attorney, and then became the first black Superior Court judge in 1958 in New England. He served with distinction in that role until he passed away, literally 8 years to the day he was named to the bench in 1966. He was a scholar, he was valedictorian of his high school class in Florida, just part of the reason why he ended up as a student at Harvard. He was a spectacular athlete. He didn't just win the 100-yard dash 100 years ago. As a college athlete, he went on to win the silver medal at the broad jump, the long jump, in the 1924 Olympics in Paris. He was obviously a terrific legal mind and an amazing jurist and a trendsetter and a pace setter and somebody we should all be honored to call a resident of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And that's my little piece of Black history today. We do meet all the time with the caucus, and those meetings are productive and engaging. And one of those meetings led to the discussion that the chair of the caucus, Representative Gonzalez, just mentioned, which was our decision to follow up on that conversation and create a $60 million home ownership program for residents and communities of color across the Commonwealth. With a little luck, we'll get some DPA, some down payment assistance money through the legislature that can go alongside that. It'll give us the ability to create thousands of home ownership opportunities for people in communities of color around the Commonwealth. In many respects, this is one of the greatest opportunities that people in this country have to create equity in their home. And there's documented evidence that for years and years and years in this country, most of which is available in a book called The Color of Law, that makes quite clear we went decades, centuries, without providing the same opportunity for home ownership to people of color that we provided to whites. And it's about time we started to do some stuff to turn that around. And I look forward to continuing to work with the caucus on that and so many other issues. We had lots of conversations about education reform. And I think most people know that we were able to sign a landmark bill at the end of the last legislative session, thanks to the leadership of the Speaker and the Senate President, the members of the caucus, and the members of the legislature, to make a $1.5 billion additional investment in K-12 education here in Massachusetts over the next 7 years, the vast majority of which will be going to urban schools and urban school districts to give them the tools and the assets that they need to make sure that every kid here in Massachusetts has an opportunity to be successful. And you read my mind, Mr. Chairman, on the whole issue of investing in our career and technical schools and making it possible for kids and young adults to develop the skills that they need to be successful. We filed a pretty significant proposal in our budget document that would create a 3-shift model for our vocational schools. Regular shift for the kids who are already going to vocational schools, after-school vocational opportunities for kids who go to traditional high schools, and then night programs for adults who want to skill up and develop a skill that makes it possible for them to be successful in a different vocation. And we actually visited one of these schools. It's currently being run at the Greater Lawrence Vocational Technical School. They have the 3 programs, but it's bootstrapped. It needs more support from us. But we had a chance to talk to regular high school kids at Greater Lawrence High School who were training in machining and welding and electronics and plumbing and advanced manufacturing at that school and developing that school. And the best part of all was this evening program for young adults where they were basically going through this program and they literally had employers, manufacturers, who were just like waiting for them to finish the program so they could hire them. And there were a couple of employers there who said literally their growth, how fast their company can grow, is limited only by how fast this program produces credentialed graduates. And the folks coming out of that program start at somewhere around $50,000 a year, and the opportunity to earn dramatically more is quite real. So I'm with you on that one. We need to do a lot more in that space. It's a tremendous opportunity. Just let me say this. We really appreciate you being here today. We are thrilled to be able to have a chance to recognize many of you for the work you do in your communities, and we are terrifically pleased to be able to meet every 90 days with the caucus to engage in some very interesting conversations about all kinds of stuff and to work very hard to continue to move this Commonwealth forward with the advice and guidance of the folks in the caucus. Thank you. Let me give you this. Oh, and Lieutenant Governor. It's now my opportunity to introduce my co-pilot, the Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth, Karen Polito, and then after that, I do want to take a picture with this, okay? All right.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to see so many of you here from all parts of our Commonwealth. I do love this room. Every community is represented here with a flag and the emblem of the community. And in every one of these communities in all the regions of our Commonwealth, we have Black leaders and rising stars that we are so proud of and so pleased to see have more opportunity in the regions and the communities of our Commonwealth. And that's really what brings us here today. I do want to thank the Chairman for your leadership. It's great to see you leading the caucus along with your colleagues. I see the work you do in your home district in Springfield, and it's just great to see your background as a Chamber of Commerce leader and then bring it here to the legislature. And I just want to say thank you to each one of you. You heard some of the comments from the chair and the governor about initiatives and programs and things that we can do to help elevate and support and bring more opportunity to Black residents and families of our Commonwealth. And these ideas are not ideas that we come up with on our own. They come from you. You're the people in your communities that see things that can be improved and done better. And I just come here grateful and very proud of what you're doing and that you're able to articulate and bring these messages and ideas forward. I want to also thank members of the Black Advisory Commission, which is a group that the governor and our team asked to assemble a few years back. Could you just, a show of hands, some of you who are serving on the Black Advisory Commission for our administration, regulars there, and there's some others too. So we convened the group a few years back, and you continue to meet, but the first year you traveled all throughout the Commonwealth, had a lot of listening sessions, and made a series of recommendations to the governor. In last year's budget, we were able to contain a lot of those initiatives, about $20 million worth, and this year, building on that, another $30 million in our budget to address these recommendations with the legislature. We're very pleased to have the ability to work with the caucus and see some of these initiatives actually have the resources behind them to make a difference. I want to call out, in addition to home ownership and housing and how important that is for bringing stability and opportunity to an individual's life, but I want to particularly thank you for your leadership around workforce. When you think about owning your home, that is part of that dream becoming real, but you're accessing the skills through education, and the first job and the career is also part of accessing opportunity. And when we think about the Massachusetts economy and how much it's changed with the advancement of technologies and research and development, one thing that strikes me, and I know the governor and many of you, is that everyone needs to feel they have access to the jobs and the careers that are emerging and growing here in the Commonwealth. As we travel the Commonwealth, we meet employers everywhere that say we have jobs, but not enough people with skills to fill those jobs. And at the same time, we need to diversify our workforce to look more like our community and have more people of color join the ranks of our workplace to be able to contribute and have the opportunities that we offer in terms of good paying jobs. Last fall, we had our STEM week, and we themed our STEM conference to be around the idea of diversity. See yourself in STEM. You have to see it to be it. And we visit schools throughout our Commonwealth, and we start with elementary school and middle school and get more kids involved with applied learning experiences. And part of our funding includes not only that applied learning experience, but then attaching yourself to a career pathway from middle school to high school, and then accessing early college and learn to earn, so you break down that affordability piece for more people to access a college opportunity or even access a skill and a credential and a certificate that will land you that good job. 76% of our STEM workforce is white. So we clearly have more opportunity for communities of color to access these educational experiences, these internship and workplace experiences. We can't solve the workforce skills gap, and we can't solve the pipeline that's needed for this innovation economy without you. So I just want to thank you for the recommendations. It's an honor to be able to advocate for the resources, to put the resources out there into the communities and see more of our Latino and Black children have more opportunity in this Commonwealth. If there's one word we'll use to sum up this day of excellence, is that word opportunity. That's what this Commonwealth is all about, for people to have opportunity to live a good life, have good jobs and careers to attach to be able to lay their roots even deeper into the soils of this Commonwealth to make it a better experience for everyone. So this is about the next generation, all right? That generation's in school right now, but we need them to stand on your shoulders and do more for this Commonwealth. And I couldn't be more honored to be here to celebrate your excellence here today. To all the award recipients, thank you. Congratulations, but you leave here with a responsibility to go back into your communities and find more initiatives to work with us on so that we can make it better. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Could I ask the members of the caucus to take a quick picture real quick? And I apologize for the small, short, very delay, just for a picture. All the members of the Black and Latino caucus, please. Thank you, Governor, Lieutenant Governor. Thank you very much. On behalf of our members of the caucus, we thank you graciously for your continued effort in supporting us as we move many of the issues in Massachusetts together and the agenda forward. Thank you. Again, when we hear of all the issues that are going on in this country and throughout Washington, D.C., again, I have to say that I am so excited to be a legislator here in Massachusetts. And let me just say to y'all that are residents of Massachusetts, be thankful too, because when you talk about Washington, D.C., you talk about the Senate and the House of Representatives. It's like a battle. Not in Massachusetts, because we have two great leaders. First, let me call up to the stage the Senate President, Karen Spilka, who's been leading these efforts as in a collaboration way with the Speaker and the executive branch to make the issues that are important to the residents of Massachusetts a priority. Senate President Karen Spilka.
Good morning. Good morning. A little bit better. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to welcome you all to the State House today. This is your house. It's great to see you here. This is the People's House. And I hope if this is your first time here that you take it as an opportunity to explore the walls, the pictures, the halls, the House chamber, the Senate chamber, and all of the areas, because it is really a spectacular building. It's a living museum. Where we work, we call it our office, but it's your home. So welcome, welcome. I'd like to thank the Mass Black and Latino Caucus, Legislative Caucus, for putting this event together and for all the work that you do in your collaborative spirit all the time and working with all of us here. And it's great to have my friend and colleague, Speaker DeLeo, here, and the Governor, Lieutenant Governor. As was noted, this is a partnership. We cannot get things done unless we work together, and Massachusetts understands that. We really understand this, and we practice this. I'd like to recognize the senators that are here, Senator Collins, Senator Brady, Senator Sear, Senator Crichton, and I know that there is lots of staff from other offices, so thank you for being here. It's a great honor to be with you here today to celebrate Black History Month with all of you, as well as to celebrate all of the contributions that Black residents have made to the fabric of life and the culture in Massachusetts. Unfortunately, walking around the State House, you wouldn't know that we value, I see a few heads shaking, unfortunately, you wouldn't know that we value the contributions of those who aren't, quite frankly, white men. Whether it be, it's true, whether it be by design or accident, this started hundreds of years ago. And right now, there is only one permanent monument in the State House to a woman, for example. That's in Nurses Hall, and it's of a nurse. And up until recently, we hardly had any recognition of people of color, which means that we are not really telling the story, the true story of what should be told about Massachusetts. And quite frankly, that needs to change. I am very humbled but proud to say that my colleagues in the Senate voted to include the words when we renovated the Senate, and I hope you have a chance to see the Senate chamber. We included the words of the great Frederick Douglass on the wall of the Senate chamber when we recently renovated it. Truth, justice, liberty, and humanity will ultimately prevail. And those words, his words, guide us. And we are recently in the process of securing a permanent bust of Frederick Douglass. We had one on loan from the African American Museum, and they needed to take it back. So we're in the process of getting a permanent bust of Frederick Douglass. As well, there's another alcove that was left empty when we renovated the Senate chamber to have the first permanent bust of a woman. Yes. And in my office, the Senate President's suite, just diagonal from the Senate chamber, there are many, many pictures of former Senate presidents. I'm Senate President number 5. I'm only the 3rd woman as Senate President. So there are many, many pictures of former Senate presidents, again, white men. And when we first started going into the suite, to be honest with you, I didn't feel 100% comfortable in meetings and looking up at all of them, to be honest. So last year, for Women's History Month in March, I replaced all of the photos with photos of women from Massachusetts history. It is a diverse cross-section of women, diverse racial, ethnic, geographic, economic sector, socio-status. We wanted women who truly represented the history and significance of contributions in Massachusetts. And it includes many African American women like Elizabeth Freeman, the first woman to successfully file a lawsuit for freedom in Massachusetts. Phyllis Wheatley, who taught English, Latin, Greek, theology, ancient history, mythology, it's pretty amazing, and literature, and wrote her first published poem at the age of 13. Sojourner Truth, who was the first black woman to successfully challenge a white man in U.S. court, among many, many other things she accomplished. Eliza Ann Gardner, who founded the Missionary Society of the African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church, where she advocated for the abolition of slavery and gender equality. Mary Mahoney, the first black woman to complete nurses training. And many, many others, including Angelina Weld Grimke, Melnia Cass, Dorothy West, Shirley Chisholm, and Framingham, my only city, Framingham's first black mayor, Yvonne Spicer. These women inspire me every single day. I put them up in March. I never took them down. And I want their stories to be known and shared. I was honored a few months ago. I still get the goosebumps when I think of this. I had a group of young women of color in my suite for a meeting, and one of them turned to me and said, "Wow, I've been to the State House before. This is the first time I see myself." So I am offering an invitation. When you are done here, I am opening up my office. The doors will be open so that you could look in and see all the women on the walls. It's just right across, as I said, from the Senate chamber. Feel free to come by and take a look. And if you know of women who have contributed to Black history, I would be honored to have them as part of our next grouping if you let my office know. We are going through more women because there are more than binders filled with women to choose, and we will put up a new grouping in March. One more woman that I'd like to mention is a woman who is of significance from my district, Edna Smith. She's from my hometown of Ashland, who is being honored here today. Edna has worked tirelessly for women and girls her entire life, first as a nurse, and then as an advocate and activist for health, equity, and justice. the Commonwealth is truly in a better place because you gave so much of your time and talent, Edna, and so I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I want to thank and recognize and congratulate all of the award recipients. The Commonwealth is in a better place because of all of your time and efforts. Thank you. Finally, as president of the Massachusetts State Senate, I'd like to recognize that we can and must do better when it comes to equity and racial justice here in our Commonwealth. Please know my door is always open, and I am always ready to listen and learn. As I've said before, when people are seated at the table of power, we must ensure that the seats are taken by individuals of every race, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, ability, and background. And if we find that our table is not big enough, then let's just build a bigger table. Again, thank you for being here today. Thank you for the opportunity to welcome you. Have a great day.
I'm going to steal that line. If we can't fit everybody at the table, we're going to build a bigger table. I like that. All right. Sounds like my line. We want a piece of the American pie, but we also want to let them know at what temperature we want it baked, because we like it hot. You know, again, Massachusetts is blessed because of the leadership, our governor, lieutenant governor, Senate president, and also for the longest serving Speaker of the House, Robert DeLeo. Let me just... I remember coming in 5 years ago, and I remember hearing the speaker say, as we travel throughout the country, people talk about Massachusetts and all the great things that are happening in Massachusetts. And I said, okay. Well, I traveled across the country, and I heard you guys are doing it right in Massachusetts. So that's a tribute to leadership. Because being a Speaker of the House, you have 160 members that you got to deal with, relate with, and bring together, and bring to the table. And when you bring to the table people that have different aspirations and different ideas and different concepts, you know you have to have a great skill set. And that skill set is listening. There's no greater listener that I know of in state government. There's somebody that knows about salsa, soul, and rock and roll. When he brings people to the table, he's there to listen, but also to garner some collaboration and get a result. So, more than a Speaker of the House, he travels this state, and I'm getting nervous because he's traveling to Springfield, Massachusetts too many times to bring us resources, and I'm thinking he may be moving to Springfield to run for state representative over there someday. But it would be an honor to step aside if he would do that. But pound for pound, the greatest Speaker of the House in the United States of America, Speaker Robert DeLeo.
I never know how to take that statement pound for pound. I'm not sure. Carlos, Representative Gonzalez, I can't thank you enough, not only for what you do for the Black and Latino Caucus, but for being such a good friend as well. And for that, I thank you. And I also want to congratulate all of the members of the Black and Latino Caucus. Yes, when they come into my office, I do have to admit I do listen a lot, okay?
because they have so many different items on their agenda. And I have to say that I think the Massachusetts State House and Massachusetts in general is better because of the work of the Black and Latino Caucus, and I sincerely want to thank them. I must start this morning, obviously. Hopefully some of you are from Northeastern University, won the Beanpot again last night for the third consecutive time. And it went into double overtime. And I learned one lesson from that game last night. One lesson: that I'm not in college anymore. But it's also great to see my good friend, obviously, as was mentioned earlier, the governor of the Commonwealth, the lieutenant governor of the Commonwealth, and of course the Senate President who was here earlier and gave such an inspiring message, as well as the governor and the lieutenant governor. And welcome to you all as we celebrate Black History Month here in Massachusetts. It's an honor to be here to celebrate the extraordinary men and women of our Commonwealth who enrich our communities every day, with your talent, your dedication, and your sheer determination. I have always believed that the diversity of the Commonwealth is one of our greatest assets that we have. And by looking around here today, I think that's really made all the more stronger in my belief. Celebrating cultural heritage not only instills a sense of personal pride, events like this also allows us to share in that celebration. That fosters understanding and appreciation and makes our state of Massachusetts a better place for everyone. And I think that that's what Carlos hit so strongly when he talked about the fact, as I travel across whether other states or talk to other speakers, I realize how truly lucky we are, considering what we do here in Massachusetts, how really fortunate that we are. Here in Massachusetts, you know, when you talk about what's happening also at a national level as well, we get things done because we work collaboratively. We work together for the common good of everyone in Massachusetts. And I have to be honest with you folks, when I travel to other states and talk to other speakers, many times I don't hear that same type of collaboration that we have. So that is something that I think that all of us as elected officials can be very, very proud of. The individuals being honored here today have made significant contributions in a wide range of fields, from the arts to community service to social work to so many others. They have served in the front lines in our communities from Western Mass all the way to the Cape, informing us as we draft legislation to tackle the Commonwealth's toughest problems. So to all of the honorees, my sincere thank you. Thank you for all that you have done and for all that you do on a daily basis. In particular, I also want to recognize a gentleman from my district who lives in the city of Revere. I'd like to recognize Randall Modestin from the great city of Revere. Randall is a valuable member of our Office of Innovation and Data Management for the city of Revere. In this position, he helped establish Revere's 311 system and implemented the mobile city hall that brings city services across the community. Congratulations, Randall, to you for the great work that you do. And I'd be also remiss if I didn't congratulate all of the honorees here today who have a very similar story in terms of what they bring to their particular community. It's really a pleasure for us to honor all of you here today. Last year at this event, I announced that the House would create a permanent memorial to Dr. King to commemorate his historic speech in our chamber in 1965. Throughout the 2019, the House has worked with the Massachusetts Black and Latino Caucus to make this a reality. I am proud to say that we have unanimously passed a resolution in the House to authorize this work late last year. So in closing, let me once again thank each and every one of the members of the Black and Latino Caucus for highlighting these extraordinary individuals who are with us today. The Black and Latino Caucus represents so many important voices of the Commonwealth, and I am thrilled that this ceremony is an annual event. And most importantly, I want to thank each and every one of you being honored here today. Although we can come up here and have these platitudes of what may be, going on here in Massachusetts, what we're very proud of, it's each and every one of you who make Massachusetts a better place to live, to work, and to raise a family. I thank you for having me here today, and I'd ask all of you to ask God to please bless all of you here today, all of the honorees here today, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the United States of America. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and again, to all the honorees, we want to congratulate you and thank you for your hard effort and work, not during February, but throughout the years that you have served in different capacities throughout the state of Massachusetts and in different states or in different countries. Thank you. I want to ask my colleagues in government to please come up from the members of the Black and Latino Caucus, because we are going to introduce all the awardees today. So all the members of the caucus, please come on up. And before I have Representative Eduardo, who is going to be reading the names. And again, as a chair, you know when to transfer your responsibilities, because it's difficult to pronounce everybody's name. So I give Lucas and Nika the hard part of calling out your name. So if they make a mistake, you know where to look at. I also just want to just say on behalf of Representative China Tyler, who could not be here today because she is ill. She's a hard and tireless worker in her district, but she sends her regards, and also Representative Jose Tosado, who is back in the district in Springfield and soon to be retiring, and also Representative Aaron Vega, who is not with us here today. But I just want to thank them. Also retiring. I just want to thank them for their hard effort. All right. But one of the perks is that I can, before we go on to recognize everybody, I just want to honor my awardee. He is Archbishop Naylor and his wife from Holy Redeemer Cathedral Church in the city of Springfield. And let me just say, we're celebrating Black History Month, and the Archbishop opened up a church many years ago when I was in the mayor's office. He didn't open it up in the Black community or the Anglo community. He opened it up in the Latino community, and that's how we got to know of his work. But today, he serves Black, white, Latinos, anybody that's hungry, anybody that's in need of services. They're doing an outstanding job, and I wish for him to stand up and take a bow, because the work that you do, Archbishop, goes a long way, not only for Springfield, but for this state of Massachusetts and this country. We need more leaders like you. We need more leaders like you and more churches like you that are leading the effort to make Massachusetts a greater place to live for all of us. Thank you very much, Archbishop. Our Representative, Nika Luguardo.
So let's give one more round of applause for our legislative leaders who spoke today. And for our governor and our lieutenant governor, thank you. Governor, Representative Holmes and I would like you to know that we're excited, along with other members of the Boston delegation at the city, to have a statue of Gordine in Nubian Square. Can you pump a fist for me, Governor? No? All right, that's cool. We'll work on it. Talk to the locals. Yeah, we'll do that. That's what we do. It is such an honor to be able to present the names to our honorees. And before I just make a couple of brief remarks on why I'm honored, and we'll do this again later, but they deserve to have double from what the rest of us have. Can we stand and give them a hand? You deserve so much than what we can give you today. Some of you may know that though Massachusetts is almost 30% people of color, there are only 20 of us out of 200 that are legislators here in this building. So the State House, and I was talking to my aide, 20 people of color. There's 13 Black and Latinos, and then there's 7 Asians, which makes 20. Today is Black Excellence Month, so it's appropriate to note that 13 of those are Black and Latino, yeah? So that is important. But the 30% number also goes for all people of color, so that's why I was matching that up. My point there is that we are underrepresented. We're underrepresented in the State House and every level of government. In my city of Boston, we're better represented now, but for many of you across the state, in your towns and cities, you are underrepresented in government. So the work that you do is the work of government. It is the work to build up our people and all people, because it is the destiny of the Black and brown people and many other groups who have suffered in our country to rise up and to show not only what victory looks like, but what democracy looks like. And that is your work. Whether you're working in child services, elder services, politics, business, arts, whatever it may be, you are doing our work, and we are here to serve you. And so that is why you get double applause today, because you do double the work and you do it 24/7. And we're very, very grateful to you, and it's an honor for me to name your names today. So along with these naming of names, we'll be giving you citations. I just want to do a little housekeeping so we know exactly what you're going to do when you stand, all right? So you're seated mainly according to alphabetical order. I'm going to call you up one by one. You're going to come over and shake the hands of each member of the caucus, and then you're going to receive your citation, step across the stage, and you're going to stand in a line, one row at a time, okay? So keep an eye out. Once your row is finished, then you'll be seated and we'll call the second row. And that way we can do it in an orderly fashion, as we say in certain places of worship, right? Okay. And then we'll celebrate you all together again. So is that clear? All right, very good. Is there an amen? I was asked by my chair. Which reminds me, I was remiss. I would also like to give a beautiful thank you to our chair, Gonzalez. Who is a strategic man and a dear friend, and as a new legislator has helped me to think strategically along with my mentors in the caucus. So first I would like to call up Mr. John Andrade from New Bedford, recommended by Representative Tony Cabral. Representative Tony Cabral. Okay. We're going to take our time and let everybody have their moment if that's okay. Mr. Gary Bailey of Boston, Representative John Santiago recommended him. Mr. Robert Bardell of Stoneham, who was recommended by Representative Michael Day. Oh, I see. Thank you. You got it. You got it. There we go. I don't know if you're noticing, but there's also a photo stop along the way. Okay? So that's important. We want to memorialize this for you and for us. Mr. Steve Bernard of Brockton, who was recommended by Representative Jerry Cassidy. And also Senator Brady is joining us. Mr. Ralph Bledsoe from the town of Andover, recommended by our own Representative Frank Moran. I never knew until I ran for office how much a part of the job was actually photos. That's part of our public responsibility, and we love it. Okay, you're gonna come, you got it? Okay, you're good. Okay, very good. Mr. Daniel Brightwell of Springfield by our Representative Bud Williams. And you've discovered it's easier to come around the front of the stage, right? I'm picking up on that. How many of you are okay with taking some time for our people? It's all right. Very good. Very good. Miss Linda Brown of Haverhill, recommended by our Representative Andy Vargas. Oh, we got some sisters in boots here. Very good. That's my job. Okay. Thank you, sister. Miss Muriel Clement of Lynn, Massachusetts, recommended by Representative Pete Capano, a good friend of mine. Reverend Muriel Daniel, from the North Shore Evangelical Missionary Church in Everett, Massachusetts, recommended by Representative Joseph McGonigal. By Representative Joseph McGonigal. Mr. Corey DePina from East Boston, recommended by Representative Adrian Madaro. Did you know his name is pronounced Madaro and not Madaro? It's Madaro. Yeah, that's intel from the inside.
Yeah, Corey.
Okay, and let's celebrate row one. You may take your seats. Thank you very much. Row two, you ready? Don't worry, we're gonna get a group picture of everyone at the end on the big grand staircase, so don't go anywhere. And it's so important that we do take our time because we know it's not enough to change the walls. We need our people, not just our skin. We need our voices and our hard work to be recognized, especially in this building, right? So let us continue, row two. Mr. Clyde Doughton of Framingham, recommended by my dear friend, Representative Maria Robinson. Mr. Clyde Doughton, I just did that. Sorry, Mr. Doughton. Double awards, that's right. Mr. Reggie Gibson of Lexington, recommended by Representative Michelle Sicolo. Ms. Regla Gonzalez, recommended by our Governor, Charlie Baker. Miss Leslie Harvey from Framingham, recommended by another dear friend, Representative Jack Patrick Lewis.
Well, Leslie, that's my twin, everybody.
Hashtag social media.
That's my twin right there, my twin. She's the older one. Reminds me all the time.
Iota Henry of Malden, recommended by Senator Jason Lewis. Thank you, sir. Mr. Henry, her son, Enos, is going to be accepting on her behalf. I didn't think Iodio was a men's name, but I was seeing him sitting there. I was wondering what was happening with that. We're keeping an open mind. So we have Miss Maddie Jenkins. Not here? Okay. By Representative Bud Williams, he will accept on her behalf. Miss Audrey Jimenez from Lynn, Representative Dan Cahill recommended Audrey. Okay. And we have Miss Hartel Johnson of Haverhill, recommended by Senator Diana DeZoglio. Ms. Melanie Kuykendall, recommended by Senator Dean Tran. Ms. Melanie Kuykendall. We want to get it right. Ms. Teresa Latson of the United Neighborhood Association from Four Corners, Dorchester, recommended by our own Representative Liz Miranda. And Senator Nick Collins as well. Thank you. Okay. Thank you to row two. Give them a hand as they take their seats. Mr. Wayne Lobo of Mashpee, recommended by Representative David Vieira. Ms. Ayana Mack. There she is. From Boston Mattapan. Recommended by my senator, Senator Sonia Chang Diaz. Okay. Mr. Eugene Morrow of Brockton. Recommended by Representative Claire Cronin. And don't forget to come and stand with your row. There you go. And Senator Brady has also joined us. Thank you, Senator. Ms. Donata Martin of Leominster and Orange. Recommended by Representatives Natalie Higgins and Susanna Whips. Mr. Randall Mondestin of Revere, recommended by our speaker, Robert DeLeo. Okay. We got it. It's good, it's good, it's good. Mr. George Morrison of Centerville, recommended by Representative Will Crocker. And my honorary minister, if that's okay, sir, Randy Mohammed. Representative China Tyler. And I see my sisters here. Can we give a hand for the ladies of the congregation, the leaders who have come? It's because I know them. I'm taking license to do that. Thank you. Ms. Seferina Morel of Boston. It's good to see you. Recommended by Senator Nick Collins. And she is one of our own. You may not know, so my aide, my legislative aide, tells me that she believes on the House side, she's on the Senate side, Ms. Seferina, there are less than 10 aides of color that we know. So there might be a handful more, right? Less than 10. And there's more than 168. The Senate side does a little better. Thank you. One chief of staff, this young woman here. So give her a hand. She is representing. And it is not easy. So your presence here is important. We need to get on some committees and in some leadership positions, right? Not just on some walls. Did I sound aggressive? Forgive me, those of you who are uncomfortable with aggression. It's okay. It's love, where I come from. Lost my place. At the bottom here. Oh, Bishop, the Bishop, okay. Bishop Leonard Naylor, sir, of Springfield. Oh, it's not the first time we're seeing in this place. By our chairman, Carlos Gonzalez. And the First Lady, Mrs. Naylor, thank you for joining us. It's a beautiful thing when your partner can stand next to you. That is a blessing. All right, we thank you, row 3. Give them a hand as they take their seats, our distinguished guests. And we move to our next row, Mr. Neil Osborne. Mr. Neil Osborne of Medford. Is he with us? Oh, here he comes, okay. Recommended by Senator Pat Jalen. For those who need to understand how far we are from the end, look, almost there. Okay? Thank you, sir. Me too, obviously. Miss Carol Roberts of Caffrey Towers in Brockton. Recommended by my sister, even though she's white, she's not really in my book, which is a good thing. And Cicely's here. I know Cicely, that's my girl. Representative Michelle Dubois, give her a big hand. She holds it down. And we welcome our caucus member, Representative Devers, always smiling. Give him a hand. Okay, we have Manny and Vanessa Slaughter of Pittsfield. Another dynamic duo. Recommended by Representative Tricia Farley Bouvier, also the chair of one of my wonderful caucuses, the Progressive Caucus. Look at this statuesque picture coming up here. Very nice. It feels like a family thing. I like it. Okay. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. Okay, Russell's gonna get on me if I just want you to feel comfortable. Okay, Miss Edna Smith of Ashland, yes. Recommended by our Senate President, Karen Spilka. And please do take the time to read about each of these honorees in your program so that you can understand the great service that they are doing to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and be encouraged. Thank you. Sean Thames of Fall River, Massachusetts. Recommended by Representative Alan Sylvia. We have another tall brother coming up here, yes. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Come on, Mr. Thames. There we go. And that's Sean Thames of Fall River. I like Sean's sweater a lot. Next, we have Mr. John Thorpe of Northampton, Massachusetts, coming out from the west. Recommended by Representative Lindsay Sabadosa, but in her absence, our office, the Elugardo office, has hosted him today, so we thank him for being here. Well, I was asked by his representative in her absence. We didn't realize that I would also be up front today, standing in for China. Mr. Ron Waddell from Worcester, recommended by one of our education champions in the House, Representative Mary Keefe. Oh, we got some little men. Give them a hand. Looking good. Look at that tie. That jacket, little brother. I like it. And I don't know, I was born in the early 70s, so I feel delighted to see the high tops coming back. I don't know if anybody feels good about that. And next we have another dynamic duo, John and Barbara Walker of Lynn, recommended by Senator Crichton. Another statuesque sister. Very good to see you, ma'am. And we got our Rep Capano back up here also. Busy honoring his folks. So we will read the remaining who are not with us today so that we can, at the end of reading those names, give them all a nice sound round of applause. Miss Ingrid Askew from Amherst, recommended by Representative Mindy Dahm and Senator Joe Comerford. Mr. Nate Bryant of Salem, recommended by Senator Lovely. Keyshawn Dodds of Springfield, recommended by Senator Eric Lesser. Derek Kaiser, recommended by Representative David LaBeouf. And Rosalie Williams, recommended by Representative Aaron Vega of Holyoke. Let's give our final row and all those not with us a final round of applause. You can return to your seats. Yeah. And as they return to their seats, we are going to ask that every honoree stands, wherever you are in the room, if you can stand. We salute you and we thank you. Come on, let's give them a serious celebration. They have come into this place, and we bless your work. Thank you all very much for this wonderful delight to introduce you, and now I hand it over to my brother, my friend, and my chairman, Gonzalez.
Thank you, Representative Feliguardo. We are so excited about the new legislators that have come in, Miranda, Feliguardo, John Santiago, my brother. They've brought in new, refreshing ideas, and in this business, you get old quick. I've only been in 5 years. I remember when I was riding in with Representative Ben Swan, who I want to just acknowledge and recognize us here. Representative Ben Swan, who served this House for many years. More than a mentor, a brother, a colleague. He helped to guide me to where I am today, so I am honored that he is with us again in your house, the people's house. And I am honored because 5 years ago, we had no folks of color in the State House from Springfield, Massachusetts. And now we have Representative Jose Tosado, my friend and colleague, mi hermano, Representative Bud Williams, who bring closing remarks.
We're almost there, almost there. First of all, to all the award winners, especially those from the 413, you folks know what the 413, that's the area code in Western Massachusetts. The Slaughters, Bishop Naylor, and Mrs. Brightwell. I want you to say one thing before I get started. Say, yes, we can. Yes, we can. I'm going somewhere with that. And before I go any further, Carlos just acknowledged Ben Swan. There's a historical piece to Mr. Ben Swan. We all remember the Selma to Montgomery walk. And remember that crazy thing on the Pettus Bridge where John Lewis got beat to death. Well, Ben, I think, is the only person in here that did that march. Selma to Montgomery. It was more than one day, as Ben will tell me. It took several days. So, Ben, I want to thank you for your contribution to the civil rights movement in this country and my predecessor, The only man in here that did the Selma to Montgomery March with Dr. Martin Luther King. Thank you, Ben. Thank you. Thank you. They told me I had 5 minutes, and I said, was that a preacher's 5 minutes or a politician's 1 minute? I'll take either one. Yes, we can. That was a speech that the last decent president in this country did on almost 8 years to a day. It wasn't a day. He gave his speech in New Hampshire, Barack Obama. And his speech was, yes, we can. Yes, we can. Now, you might think that that was a creative situation he came up with, but I remember the Pointer Sisters in 1973 did the song, Yes, We Can, Yes, We Can. And I think the underlining story behind Yes, We Can, as Barack had done his homework. When the slaves came here in 1619 to North America, the black slaves said, yes, we can. During the Nat Turner Revolution, Nat said, yes, we can. Then we go to the Underground Railroad with Harriet Tubman. And go see the film, by the way, or the movie. Yes, we can. It's excellent, really excellent. John Brown, yes, we can. Then we go to 1865, the Civil War and the Emancipation Proclamation. Black people said, yes, we can. And you move on, and you go to post-slavery in 1865. Black people said, yes, we can. And you keep moving to Sojourner Truth and Marcus Garvey and the Buffalo Soldiers and the Tuskegee Airmen, even the 54th in Boston. Black people said, yes, we can. Even when a young black boy from Chicago who went to Mississippi and he was murdered because he whistled at a white woman, Emmett Till, black people said, yes, we can. Medgar Evers was murdered for trying to get people registered to vote. Black people said, yes, we can. Even when Dr. King was assassinated, black people said, yes, we can. And you start talking about Jesse Jackson and Malcolm X and Louis Farrakhan. Black people said, yes, we can. Then about 1964, the Civil Rights Act. Lyndon Baines Johnson carried out Kennedy's mission. Black people said, yes, we can. 1965, you remember that? Voting right. And there's a move in the country to make America great again. But yes, we can. Oh, yes, we can. And yes, we will. Then we go to 1968, fair housing legislation. Black people said, yes, we can. And you can't leave out Jackie Robinson or Muhammad Ali or Jim Brown or Bill Russell. They all said, yes, we can. NAACP in 1909 put together, yes, we can. The 1920 Harlem Renaissance, when most of the blacks from the South, the rural South, migrated to the North, and you had the Harlem Renaissance. Yes, we can. And I know that as we look out, we look around. The homelessness in this Commonwealth, we can do a better job. Yes, we can. Prison reform in the Commonwealth, we can do a better job. Yes, we can. Putting little black Latino boys to work in the Commonwealth, yes, we can. Making our educational system better in these urban centers, yes, we can. Making our streets safe in America. Yes, we can. We got to take these handguns off of the streets in our urban areas. Too many of our black boys and Puerto Rican boys and people are getting shot. We have to have the will to take these guns off the street. Yes, we can. So as I conclude, yes, we can. And we got to pick it back up. There's a mood in this country, a terrible mood in this country. And an old gentleman told me, if you don't know your past, you don't know your history, you will repeat your past and you'll repeat your history. And if you don't think it can happen, ask Germany about that Hitler. Ask Italy about Mussolini. We got dictators around. We don't have presidents, we have dictators. So I'm telling us, yes, we can. Let's put our hands together. Let's put our heart together. Let's row in the same direction. And I want everybody in to say, yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Thank you.
Si se puede. Yes, we can. Thank you, Representative Williams, my brother. All right, so we've gotten to the end of this program. Give yourselves a nice round of applause. To my committee members, to Lucas, and all the staff that have assisted us during this event and all the other events that we have done. Great job. Thank you. Muchas gracias. This is the year that we can make a difference. We must register to vote, but more importantly, we got to get out and vote. Because yes, we can. So now, to all the honorees, I'm going to ask you to please stand, follow Lucas. We're going to go out to the staircase. There's going to be a special picture taken by the State House photographers.